In this video, I will be talking about attention and learning in a multimedia environment. Specifically, we will be looking at inattentional blindness and suggest one possible multimedia principle to be considered by instructional designers when creating multimedia content for learners. Let's try to reflect on these questions. Do you sometimes daydream in class while staring in the face of your teacher? Do you sometimes miss important scenes on Netflix whilst reading subtitles? Do you know that driving and speaking or texting on the phone can easily cause an accident due to distraction? If the answer to these questions is yes, then it's obvious that one gets distracted in one way or the other when they try to multitask using their limited cognitive resources. It is logical to think that you see whenever your eyes are open, but in reality, attention plays a major role in our visual perception, and sustaining learners' attention throughout a lesson can be very difficult for both in class or online. Now let's explore the psychology of inattentional blindness. The term inattentional blindness was first coined by two psychologists, namely, Ariane Mack and Irvin Rock, as title of their book, in which they observed the phenomenon during their perception and attention experiments. What is inattentional blindness? Inattentional blindness can be viewed as a byproduct of attentional selection, in which our ability to focus attention enables us to ignore irrelevant or distracting information, but it occasionally leads us to miss items that we might have wanted to experience. The famous experiment demonstrating inattentional blindness is the invisible guerrilla test conducted by Daniel Simons and Christopher Chabris. Now let's take a moment to watch this experiment to test our awareness. From the video, if you saw the gorilla, then perhaps you got distracted. If you did not see the gorilla, it is not your fault. At any given time, there is far too much information coming in through the eyes for the short-term memory to fully process. Due to this, the brain acts like a spotlight, focusing our attention on certain aspects of a scene while ignoring others. Which principle of multimedia learning can be used to address inattentional blindness? One possible principle of multimedia learning to be considered by instructional designers to reduce cognitive load in order to sustain learners' attention is the signaling or cueing principle. The signaling principle is one of the 12 principles of multimedia learning developed by Richard Mayer, which essentially means that humans learn best when they are shown exactly what to pay attention to on the screen. How is the learner supposed to know what is the most important to focus? As a multimedia developer, using visual and voice cues such as colon, highlighting important words, hierarchical order of headings, using animated arrows, flashing and spotlighting to point out significant information, using slides or scenes to separate learning sections, stressing keywords in sentence by differing your tone. Pointer words such as firstly, secondly, thirdly can also be used as signaling. In conclusion, the gorilla in the experiment could be a distractor from the video. The cue that sustained your attention not to have been distracted was the focus on the number of passes by the players wearing white shirt. In effect, using signaling is a very powerful principle to consider in multimedia design to sustain learners' attention. Thank you for your attention.
Created using Powtoon.